Yeah, they see me on top and they get mad cause they can't top me. Got me running up the skull when they even matter cause they can't stop me. Yeah, they see I'm trying to watch me and they trying to copy and it's looking sloppy. Yeah, we about to get it poppin', talking non-stop, can I get a copy? Yeah, you see me on top and they getting mad cause they can't top me. Got me running up the skull when they... Make money, make money, make money, then you take money, take money, take money.
I swear that intro gets me hyped every time. I don't know about y'all, but my husband can make some music, can't he, y'all? So thank you for joining me back here on KSB TV YouTube channel. I am excited for today's stream. If you guys don't know, and I'm going to give it a second so that people can join us in the chat. Take this opportunity to share out the link, like, subscribe, all that good housekeeping stuff. But if you guys don't know, I have like restarted this year with like a new attitude as far as just prioritizing growth in my life, whether that comes to my weight loss journey or my crypto journey. All of it, I'm just trying to find some consistency. If you guys don't know that last year I went on tour with the guys, and as much of an opportunity and a blessing as that was in my life, it was also a whirlwind. Just trying to find consistency and balance in my household and my family. All of it was just all over the place. And so now I'm focusing on just consistency, really. I've started streaming every day, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Saturday, I would ideally like to stream with my husband. But as you guys know, he is taking on way more work responsibility, trying to DCA at these awesome prices. So that's going to be hit or miss. And then Sunday, like the Lord, I must rest. so I will not be streaming on Sundays, but Monday through Friday, you can catch me here on KSB TV YouTube. And so what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to a lot of different people in the crypto community that I just have a ton of respect for, that I have learned little pieces from along the way, hearing, seeing their tweets or hearing them in spaces or even on streams. And so I want to have these one-on-one conversations with these people so I can just pick their brain and just, find out all that great knowledge that they have to offer to us in the community of crypto space. So today I am talking with Crypto Bruh. You might also know him as More World Peace. That is his tag on Twitter. And I just, every time I see his tweets, I'm just like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. And when it comes to Zen, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So today I asked him to come and talk to me because, if you're going into the crypto space with fresh mind, right? Objectively, then you can't just say, oh, I'm only going to be in this project, or I'm only going to be in this project. You kind of need to get into the principles of crypto and what makes a product, what separates one from the rest. And so that is why I have asked him to come, and I'm about to bring him up right now.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, that intro does hype me up as well. I was over here dancing even though nobody could see me.
Yep, in the green room, just letting them have it.
But yeah, I'm chilling. I'm hanging out. Just cryptoing as always. But stopped to do this because I think it is really important to expand the dialogue on cryptocurrency in general and just talk about it. And I'm glad that you brought me on so we can just chop it up about some cryptocurrency.
Yeah, of course. So Crypto Bruh what you like to go by?
Yeah. I go by Crypto Bruh. What's funny about the More World Peace is that's actually my DJ name. So that's like my stage name when I'm DJing, which is my profession. So I've changed my Twitter into like this crypto Twitter, I guess. And yeah, I never thought about changing the More World Peace part. I still embody it. It's like a special piece of my DJing journey of how I got to that name. So some people call me More World Peace, but it's a lot of syllables. Crypto Bruh just kind of like rolls out,
Close. Absolutely. And I actually thought that the More World Peace had kind of came out of like the More community, because I think that's where I kind of first, saw you in the space, is kind of in that More space.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of been with you for even longer than that, sounds like.
Yeah, it was actually pretty spooky when Trevon came out with the More name.
Mhm.
I thought it was like a really good branded name because like now it's essentially branding like a sentence where somebody says the word more, and if you know, you know, and it kind of puts crypto in the ether, you know. So
Yes.
it was to me kind of spooky that I was already going with the more world peace thing since like 2017, and then later on, a project I'm heavily influenced by has a similar parallel to it. So
Mm.
yeah, I think it's kind of fresh though. You know, I'm the only more world peace in the moron community, so no one can steal that from me. I even own moreworldpeace.com.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
I'm pretty sure at this point in time, you could probably just Google more world peace, no spaces, and all of my socials and stuff will pop up. And that was one of the reasons for me making that name. In 2017, I actually had like this OG DJ person tell me that my like Instagram name was like pure trash. Yeah, and his like pure trashness was based on like all these asterisks and like characters I had. Because you know, it's like 2017, you put like underscores and dashes and everything. But I was trying to explain that to this really talented or legendary DJ, and he was just like, "Yo, I can't even follow you, bro. Like, I can't put this like together." So then the next day after that, I was like, I gotta really get a good name, and I was thinking about like how my name is on flyers and how you know the world in like 2017 I was becoming more of like a health type of individual, like focusing on my health, the type of things I'm intaking. And then I just went to Google and typed in, or oh no, I went to Instagram and I typed in more world peace, and then I got the at, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. So then I went to Twitter, and then I got the at, and I was like, oh damn, this is like weird, like nobody's doing this. So I went and just went to Google and bought a domain, and then no one had moreworldpeace.com, and I was like, this is weird. Like the internet is huge, but nobody has more world peace already locked in. So I locked it in and like been going hard with that brand in a sense since 2017. And like it being so simple, it's like turned into this thing where now you could just type it in, no spaces, and my all my socials pop up in my website and stuff. So that's a little fun nugget for branding if you're interested. But that's why I love the More brand idea because it's so simple, and the green dot is like a way where people see it and they just like their brain goes, oh, I know what that is in relation to, if they're in the know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like wearing like a really nice watch, and everyone that's in the know, they're like, oh, okay, you got that watch on over there, you know.
Like
Yeah,
that RH multicolored Rolex. You see
exactly.
somebody in the community with that one, and you're like, oh, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. But for me now, it's all messed up because I'll be driving my car and I'll see the green light and I'll be like, oh yeah, moretokens.com. I'm like, oh no,
Going
that's
too far.
really yeah, I'm like it's going too far. But branding is something that is like very passionate to me. So I always kind of cruise the streets of brands, like seeing how people articulate how they put it together.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of how the more world peace part came around. And like even Crypto Bruh came from some random idea where shout outs to this OG streamer. His name is Crypto Blood. And
Okay.
I grew up like in I'm from San Diego. Currently I live in New York. But I
Where
grew
are
up
you?
like
I'm in
you're in New
San
York?
Diego, born and raised.
Oh, you're born and raised in San Diego? Oh, that's
Absolutely.
fire. Yeah, yeah. I like graduated from like Lincoln High School.
Okay,
So
crazy.
yeah.
So hold on, I gotta get real personal for a second here. So you know the big church that's in the parking lot, essentially behind Lincoln, Mount Airy Baptist Church.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's my grandfather's church.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
born
that
and raised in all the Mount Airy schools. Then in
oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I like man, yeah, I mean, not far away from home now,
yeah,
but I needed this transition so I can get to broadening my perception of how I want to interact with things.
yeah.
So,
That's both of my little brothers actually graduated from Lincoln. I was
mhm.
the girl, so they had to keep me in private school, but
Yeah, it's
the
rough out
boys
there.
play sports at Lincoln.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Shout outs Lincoln High School. They won and
Yeah,
CIF state for the first time last year
first
in
time.
2022. That was really cool. Shout outs to those boys. They working hard. But yeah, like there was this guy named Crypto Blood, and then I thought everything about him was really dope. But I was like, man, if you like, I come from like this neighborhood where like not blood isn't a stigma, but like
Mm,
it's something that I have close to me that I just wouldn't want
mm,
anybody to know me as, right? So like
exactly.
Bruh came from that. Like Crypto Bruh was like kind of me feeling like I could change the branding of how people put crypto together, but also make it a in relation to like where I grew up and how I feel. So
Okay.
that's why it's Bruh with three H's because you got to stretch it out, Bruh.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I love it. So for the people out there that don't know, because even myself, I don't know your crypto story. Like, how did you originally get into the space?
So I've been crypto like every single day, 24/7, probably like 2017. That's when the switch flipped in my head and I understood that like I needed to port most of my real life funds into this vehicle. But I heard about Bitcoin, I call it the whisper in the wind, from a friend that was trying to tell me about it for like 3 years. And he
Mm,
first told me in 2013. I used to work at this streetwear boutique in San Francisco when I was like going to college and whatnot. And this dude who drove like a pedicab, like I don't know if like the ones where you got to pedal it and
mhm,
you could pick people up. So this was like one of my homies. So he used to come to the store and he would like buy clothes and he would like ride the pedicab over and like pick up clothes before he goes and like does his thing. But then one day he just came and was like, "Man, I've been buying these bitcoins and like getting into these communities and I think this is like a big thing, right?" And then I like to this day I'm like, wow, I still wonder why he shared this information with me. But then
mhm,
like he just like shared it and then disappeared. And then he came back a year later. I'm at the shop and he's like, "Yeah, I like made a bunch of money off the bitcoins, and now I'm like developing, and I'm like gonna buy a boat and like go out into the ocean because like the taxes are different or something like that, right?" So I'm like, oh, "Okay, like you doing you, bro." But he came back to the store to buy some clothes and stuff, right? So
yeah.
like, he leaves. It's 2014. He leaves, and then 2015 he comes back again, and he's like, "Yo, you gotta look into this." Like you just got to do it, man. And I was like, all right, I'll start looking into it. But I was one of those people where in 2015 I was just a viewer, just looking at it and watching how the markets were moving, watching how people were building, and then in 2016 started watching that Bitcoin price like actually do something, and
Mhm,
watching all the YouTubers like saying like it's going to go crazy, like you got to jump in or you got to figure it out. And I remember it being like 2016, and I like bought a Bitcoin, but I didn't know how to store it.
mhm.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know
Kept it
how
on
like
the
the
exchange.
I well, it was I knew that you weren't supposed to keep it there. So like
Uh-huh.
a lot of people that were bringing me in, they were bringing me in from like the first principles of like self custody. And
Wow.
the and that's kind of how I got really interested in crypto when I finally learned how to get custody of it.
Mm,
And that came around 2017 when you like everybody had like Exodus wallet or
mhm,
which was another one like Atomic wallet. Like we were having those wallets to start getting out of the centralized area of where you buy the crypto. But in 2016, I had no clue, so I just like bought some Bitcoin and then sold it.
mm,
Yeah, and then I saw that action, so I was doing little buys and sells. Really wasn't too interesting just buying and selling it. But then in 2017, Ethereum started to kind of have more of a presence with the smart
mhm,
contracts, especially with the ERC20s being like a thing, and like everybody going to Binance and doing all the ICO stuff. So that's when I finally started to buy ETH and Bitcoin and like sending that to a wallet and getting out of the centralized area and then just becoming very immersed in cryptocurrency, like so immersed where I'm like one of my funny stories is I got banned from Gemini in the early days because I sent crypto to a contract. And then
Oh,
they like blacklisted me. They were like, nah, you can't no sending crypto directly to contracts. Like you got to send it at least to a wallet first. So I haven't used Gemini in mad long, but I mean they're bankrupt now. They lost anyways. Um, and like now from that moment of like learning how to use Etherscan with all of like how you call the contract, how contracts navigate. I like watch people make UIs, and then
Mm.
now we're like in this crazy world where there's so much interaction. Like I got my little ledger just like chilling here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like so easy now to get crypto and be involved. But in the early days, it was like I was like a pirate, like surfing the seas. Like where do I go? How do I move?
That is very interesting. So from kind of being in the space, it seems like you've kind of always had an understanding of self custody from even the very beginning. What became like your metrics of how you picked a project that you wanted to get involved in?
Um, one of the biggest ways was influencers, to be
Mm,
honest. And then I would do my research after I would hear what people were like chatting about, to kind of understand what the direction of like the industry was going. Like
mhm,
I remember when I first jumped on board of this crypto thing, the confusion was like Bitcoin Cash and
mm,
like Pure Coin, and then like what was the other one? Oh, and then like Litecoin.
Litecoin, yeah.
Yeah, so like the narrative was like if it's forked from Bitcoin, but it's different and it's mined faster, that might be a good opportunity. And that's kind of how I started like understanding how to kind of read the market based on like that original self-custody concept of like if it's being mined a certain way, that's going to mean that it's first principles. And
Mm,
then find those coins that are mining fun ways or different and staying decentralized and try to like figure out and navigate through that. And that's why I think I'm so influenced by Ethereum,
mm.
because they've been able to hold the rock together this whole time. Litecoin's cool, Dogecoin's cool. I mean, I couldn't call that one, you know. Like who like I have no crystal ball to be like Elon Musk is gonna pump this in 2022. Like
Right.
might want to get into this. But yeah, the principle of mining and creation is kind of how I start that metric. And I go from there. If however that coin is created, I'm gonna go in and try to figure out why does it need to exist.
Do you essentially kind of look for some type of fair distribution method, or something that is trustless where there's like no admin keys? Like,
Yeah, well, it depends now. But the main thing is distribution.
hmm
I would say that that's like the root of the truth for me. However, the coin is going to be distributed, it gives me a more an easier perception of how big it can scale,
mm,
or how rare it can be, or even like if it's supposed to be like huge in token size. Like I've crushed myself on that idea, and now I'm like sold that tokens don't really matter. It matters about like how the community is handling it if it's that kind of vehicle where there's a ton of tokens, right? Versus like now you have like Avalanche. This is just a good reference because they only have 730 million tokens.
hmm
And that's like their max cap. So knowing that they got smaller tokens, um, but they have like a bunch of admin key stuff going on. I have to now do research on like why do they need this balance? Which then now I learned like, oh, they're trying to onboard bigger brands, and those bigger brands want less channels because they don't want people stealing your stuff while you're working with them, right? So like that those kind of things make me feel more comfortable. If I know how and why those coins are being blasted out to everybody,
hmm
I can make a better decision if this is really based on self custody, because
hmm
that is the goal of every crypto is to own it and lock it up yourself. And you know being able to get it whenever you want to get it. Like I'm totally against holding your coins on exchanges. Like I'm totally against using exchanges. Like I only use dexes. Um,
mm,
like yeah, I can't bottle it up. It's still super fascinating to me that people leave their coins on the exchanges. Like
right.
I mean, but that's just it, right? We're in a whole new paradigm of cryptocurrency where a lot of people missed the self custody narrative, where it was only about owning your crypto and messing with cryptos that you own. Um, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, I'm into smart contracts too. So smart contracts that that also created this world of like decentralized central custody and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that's why I still go back to like Ethereum is king until anything figures out like how to better distribute what they're doing. And I mean, I have this theory that they're gonna get flipped by someone in the future because
Hmm.
crypto is just constantly evolving and trying to keep distribution and first principles together is extremely rare in today's like crypto industry.
Yeah. So who are some of the like mentors in the space? Because you definitely mentioned that influencers were one of the ways that you would like hear about a coin and then go and do your research about it. Who are some of those people that you've kind of learned from over the years?
Well, the biggest is my big bro Trevon. That's big bro. I learned a lot of trading from him and like strategy and game theory of like the chart and like
Mm,
how the chart correlates to how people respond
yeah.
and whatnot. So like I mean he was probably my biggest influence. My second biggest influence would be Crypto Blood because he was a financial individual. And I mean these people look like me. So then I was like watching, people that look like me. So
Mhm,
they're the way that they were delivering their content just struck with me more,
mhm,
and it was very informative. Like Blood, he's still going to this day. Like, I mean, you could buy his thing that he's got going on over there if you want to, but I mean, I never really bought anything from anyone.
mhm,
I just would follow them as like my daily content, where I turn on the YouTube, I would see what they're up to, and then I
mhm,
would go and do my own thing and in a sense I guess replicate what they were doing, and try to make my own interpretation or understanding of like what the industry was on because there was nothing really there besides like read the white paper and like participate.
yeah.
um yeah, so like those early days or a lot of my and I think this is why like I spit a lot of information at one time. A lot of my early foundation in cryptocurrency was like do your research and like make sure you understand it so that if you lose it's because you didn't like pay attention to detail to something because everything's
Mm,
gonna work. But like at losing, if you think you're a loser, then like you should probably figure out why your loss happened, and you will learn a lot about smart contracts and how people are trying to make DeFi. Or because that's why we have like Aave or Curve DeFi, where if you don't want any of the risk of some mad scientist making some crazy formula behind some contract, you could just go to Aave or Compound and just stake your coins for like 1% APR. Play the safe play. But that's kind of like how I taught myself all of this was just like scanning through YouTube.
mhm,
Yeah, look at everybody's points of view, see how everyone's trying to deliver it. But I stuck behind Trevon because like I saw his whole come up. Like since I got in 2015 on the YouTube scene, I like saw him like in the car with like with like the bubble thing in the back, like you know how your top like lays down. Like I seen him with that, and then move slowly progress like through crypto, similar to the friend that was telling me like, dude, you should get into this. So I was
mhm,
like seeing it on the YouTube, seeing it in real life, and like I was like, yeah, I guess I got to get into this because like everybody's getting turned up. Like what the hell? And then going back to a little bit how I got into crypto when it rocket shipped in 2017, I was just holding the bag. Like I was so sold on crypto that I was the bag holder. Like it was going down. I was like, I don't care. This is gonna change the planet. Like I don't care. Go to zero, buy some more. Like
and then
I
they
was the
dumped
bag
on your
holder.
head.
Yeah. Being a bag holder isn't that bad, as long as you believe in it and
Yeah,
you do your research, bag hold. I hate
yeah.
that some people
Turned
in
around.
yeah, I hate when people in DeFi like try to make it seem bad that you're hodling. Like if you believe in it, like you should be able to believe in it. You shouldn't have to think, do I believe in this? But if you
Mm,
have that thought in DeFi, like, do I believe in this? That's a good time for you to really understand it, so that you can be like, damn, I do believe in this, and I see what everyone's talking about now and why they're confused. And next thing you know, you might be on the you know, onto something that no one else was thinking about because no one's thinking about crypto right
Yeah.
now.
And trading is hard and stressful. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was doing it a little bit, you know, in the stock market, just playing around with options and doing things like that. And I mean, you could oversleep the market, especially being on the West Coast. You
Hmm.
oversleep, miss a sell opportunity, and just the mind, the stress that you take yourself through, like knowing that I could have been here, I could have been there. Sometimes, I mean, for me, that's kind of what got me so heavy into Hex was the idea that you're rewarded for hodling, you know, and you don't have to play these games. Is like, when do I buy, when do I sell? No, just always buy, always stake, and when it comes out, it'll probably be worth more. That
Exactly. We're
was
like
just
in a hyperbolic market, and that's why I'm so deep in DeFi to that point that you just made. Like, I'd rather just do some research, stake my coins, get
mhm,
some yield, and not get rugged. And then like if there is a trading side of the idea, then that's just like a bonus. But
yeah.
I always think that crypto's been like kind of like bass backwards, where trading has always come first. And I've
Hmm.
heard the story, well, I don't know if it's the real story, but I've heard the story about how it became the market vehicle for this
Hmm.
idea of like self custody and getting really far away from that because the Bitcoiners that brought it to like the centralized exchange and kind of created that culture because it was needed. Like you needed a trading culture to gather volume, to get interest from people like me who were just like standing inside of a streetwear boutique, like I don't know about this, man. Like if the chart's at zero, then the person that has no clue is gonna for real be like, this is trash.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's like my only thing about like the love for the trader. But we are like I think switching into a new paradigm of crypto where you don't have to be a trader unless you really care about price. And then you can just kind of like, you know, stake hex. I still stake hex. Like I got into hex on day 3 and day 1, but day 1 was a bust. I learned about that though. That's tatted in my life from now on about how to run a lobby style. But I thought that's why I was really into Hex because the way that Hex distributed the coins in the
Hmm.
beginning was fascinating to me. I wasn't part of the EOS lobby that happened, so I took the Hex opportunity to like learn about like this lobby style of like distributing coins, and
Hmm.
then like I staked. Like I still have stakes that are like pretty much like 12 years long because
Hmm.
I bought I didn't I want to say I bought in because I still believe in it, but like there is this idea in crypto where like we can make generational wealth with our
Right.
stake and like we
Mm.
can create value for those coming later. So like I was like, hell yeah, I'll do some stakes, like some 12 year stakes for like my niece and like my sisters and whatnot. And like, you know, when it comes out, it pops out, you know. But like that was like revolutionary to me. Like that way of
Mhm.
distributing coins and passing value is just like mind blowing. Like you can't really do that with a bank at all. Like a bank, I mean, you could do a bank like a CD, but the amount of yield that you're going to get being in the crypto vehicle is just going to be astronomical. There's
Mhm.
um, uh, an article from like 2021 where they predict by 2026 the industry of cryptocurrency will be over $67 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah, we're like bouncing around like right under like a trillion right now. So
Mm.
to think that anything that isn't going to survive today or anything that is not, you know, that's really lit today, you know, like the flame, if it stays around for the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, like we're all going to be sitting in this crazy pool where we're just like, yo, where'd all these people come from? Like
Mhm.
they're all showing up and they're just like, we're more happy about this than we are because we've just been in here for so damn long, right? So
Mhm.
like that's kind of like why I enjoy DeFi as well. Like the staking vehicle, don't have to trade. You can trade later. You can create a stake to make a trade. Right? There's a way for you to play with with the people creating the market and the value without having to participate every single day in a trade.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I get burned in trades, yo. I suck at trading. Yeah, in the more Telegram, I'm known as the sell signal, yo. Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah, it's bad out here for me. It's because I be doing so much research, I think, and then I get to a pinnacle point where I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's about to happen. And then that's exactly what's not going to happen. Like, so I'm starting to learn, you feel me? Like, all right, if you have that real gut feeling that this about to happen, just always stay on the edge of your seat. Like, chill, bro. Calm. That's why I have a hopium on my chest. Like, calm down, bro. You know, you're high on opium, man.
Yeah. So, so I've seen you in the Zen space as well, right? So I know
Mhm.
you from the Hex community space. I've seen you in the more community space, and now I'm seeing more of us in the Zen space. What was it about that project that made you say, "I need to give this one a second look"? I'm interested in what Jack Levin has going on.
Yeah, actually, it didn't click for me with Zen until this one Trevon stream, and he said like, where he explained the global rank. So I
Mm,
thought Zen was stupid. Like when everybody started talking about it, I was like, man, this is stupid project. Like this is dumb. Like Zen with an X. Like what? Like no one like you know crypto's chaotic. Like crypto is
right.
not Zen. So it just sounded like a scam off the rip. Like oh they're trolling my piece, yo. I can't get in. But because I had that cloud, I missed a lot of the free game that was happening.
Hmm.
Jack was doing interviews, people were learning their strategies, or playing on testnet, and I was just like waiting for the YouTube video to be like, what am I gonna do, you know? And then like uh Trey said like, yeah, the global rank rises, and as it rises, people come behind, or as people come behind you, you're gonna make more Zen on your stake or your claim, and that's what intrigued me. I was like, oh, so this is an onboarding vehicle. Like I get rewarded for people coming after me, but if I tell people to come into the pool, then I am essentially making it bigger. And then the like cool part, I mean, the the first principle part is that like I am working with everyone else. It's not like it's just one pool or one referral link that's getting all of the onboards. It's like
Hmm.
the whole community is doing it. So that
Right.
like blew my mind where I was like, the world is massive. And if if this catches on, uh, as more and more people, get in on it, it's just going to grow and I'm going to be in a good place and maybe I can sell the stake, right? So I was still playing the trading game when I first got into Zen. I didn't still understand the vehicle of what it can be. And then I got started to learn how the S curve worked over 8 years and how at 8 year mark, you'll only be able to print 10,000 Zen.
Hmm.
And then after that 8 year mark on year nine, the mathematical log will only be able to do 10 Zen per min. So then that really got me intrigued on the distribution. I was like, hold up. So you mean today I get more than tomorrow?
Hmm.
Like I'm like, okay, that's some DeFi stuff right there. Like that's some DeFi because DeFi is based on time and progress, and we don't know what the world's going to look like in 10 years, especially crypto. So I think in DeFi in about 5 years. I did the longer stakes on Hex because that everything about it was just like, okay, yeah, you do this for a long time. Like this is like
Hmm.
a vehicle based on generational wealth and pushing time, or how do you say time is your friend, in that instance. So I went in on the Zen idea, like cool, I'll just jump in and mine away and figure it out. And then the Zen FTs came out, and that was like 100 days in, and I'm an NFT person. Like that's where I'm degening. I kind of moved away from tokens because I'm staking and I'm like, oh, I don't trade these. So like what the
Hmm.
JPEG kids doing, like even this like this little thing behind me, that's like my first NFT I ever minted.
Yeah, that was
Um
the picture that I knew you from the longest until you bought the more vehicle,
yeah.
and then you switched.
Yeah, I know. I was like, all right, I'm down for the more vibes. So much that I'll change my PFP. But that guy back there, I printed it out of the blockchain, and I thought it was super fascinating because the NFT project they're called Fangang, and
Mhm,
they created a derivative of your Fangang. So like, if you bought this little like fox-looking thing, you got to mint for free a pixel version of it, but the
mhm,
pixel version was going to be minted. It was going to be random. And like I got this little dude. He's like bare chest, or basically just have no clothes and a bucket hat and a mean looking face. And I was like, yo, this is me. Like, did Ethereum just like give me me? Like, and it blew my mind. Next thing you know, like I'm buying JPEGs because like I'm doing it for the redeem. I'm not doing it for the make money. And I that's I call it the gumball effect, right? You go to a gumball machine, you put in a quarter and you get out a gumball, but technically you just got hustled. But it's a gumball that's like 5 cents. You just put in 25 cents. You just got hustled. So like in my opinion, that's me buying a JPEG. It's like, damn, this isn't really worth anything, but I love the experience of getting it. Like that is mad crypto to me. Like, yo, the blockchain printed out this JPEG, like that's fire. So from that like concept and studying NFTs, Zen really caught my attention when I found out about the NFTs. Because then my ideas were like, wait a second, that's a different market where there's a ton of people that are buying stupid things. And they're buying it because there's a culture of buying stupid shit over there. Like people
Yeah.
are buying like like the main thing will be like glasses, right? Like a NFT project comes out and they're like, yeah, these glasses are fresh, and maybe the glasses are like in relation to like a Playboy Cardi type glasses where everybody in the reality wears these glasses. So you having an NFT that has those makes it more rare. And I'm like, yo, this is stupid. Like this, I mean, it's smart, but at the same time, it's in my opinion not using the data correctly in NFT world. So
Mhm.
seeing Zen bring in utility had my gears grinding. Like I was like, what is this gonna do to the NFT community? And it brought me to the spaces and got me very involved in Zen because what I learned was that I couldn't get ahead in Zen when I was trying to figure out how the NFTs work and how the classes. So you can make like all different colors of the NFTs, and they base it off of the class,
Mhm.
and the class is based off of how many wallets are in the NFT, and then
Okay.
how long your max term is, or how many days you want to wait to mint your Zen. That formula creates a color on the Zen NFT, and I was like, man, that looks like a game. Like, why would they do it like that if they don't want to have something rare in the future, right? Because I'm in the
Mhm.
NFTs and I'm like, people in NFTs think sunglasses are rare, but this NFT has physical value inside of it, and the
Yeah.
rareness is actually based on how much value is in it. And then
Mhm.
that was blowing my mind about Zen, and like I was like, I gotta figure out a way, trying to get back to the trading thing. I got to figure out a way to game this, get a NFT that's going to benefit me in the future versus now. And
Mhm.
it brought me into the Twitter spaces where I started to learn more about Zen. And then now I'm so involved because I see Zen as one of the best distributed coins ever right now. The way
Yeah.
that it's made is through the smart contract by burning gas to create time. And then when you create that time on the chain, that's what's going to give you the Zen at the end. So it eliminates the idea that you need like Bitcoin's like hooked up to power plants, but
Mhm.
Zen is hooked up to Ethereum, and then Ethereum is hooked up to POS, all the nodes. So essentially, it is also hooked up to a power plant, but it's got power coming from all over the place. It's not just the local power plant that's burning mad power for everybody on the block. It's like a world power plant, and we're all kind of siphoning the data in between the POS. So that to me feels a little bit more of like a natural mine idea of a new coin, because I don't know really how I could produce a new coin. Like some people say maybe we should try to run, right? Like that, what's that app called Steppen, where you mine coins by walking. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, human energy to mine crypto. Like that
Mhm.
sounds like it's gonna last like 2 years maybe. But like the you know the principles of distribution of like self custody, like how do people own this thing? It's so intriguing to me in the Zen world because, like I said, you can do a vanilla mint and have one wallet where your time is locked in, and then later on, maybe 400 days down the line, you're able to get that time and like resemblance of Zen, and then maybe you can sell that Zen, or now you can burn that Zen um, for something else, so you could just keep going within this decentralized atmosphere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me ask you
yeah.
a question about distribution, because you mentioned that that's like a key component for you. And I know that I've heard, various criticisms of Zen, one being that the distribution is not as fair as, it's as the narrative, right? Because of the
Mhm.
fact that in the early days when the global rank was still low or whatever, centralized exchange could come in and scoop up the majority of the Zen.
Mhm.
How do you respond to something like that?
Well,
That
this is kind of how I've become more of a Zenian, I should say, because I had to look at that. I had to see that problem too.
yeah.
But Zen's doing everything backwards. So because of hyperinflation, the chart is going down. And what that does is now that adds this weird emotion because like I said, like I was there. I was the 2013 dude saying this chart's trash. Like I don't know what y'all doing over there. Like this sucks. And then the chart turns around for Bitcoin. But in Zen's case, the chart is going down always because people are minting the coins. They're making the coins and they're selling them back
So,
onto the blockchain. You can
mhm,
think of it as like a DeFi exchange. They
mhm,
they mine it with mining power, and then they bring it over to Uniswap and they do a DeFi exchange because they made the liquidity, right? Now, that was gamed in my opinion, but it's fairly gamed because I
mhm,
had also all the opportunity to learn about Zen and actually park myself amongst all those crazy Zenians right now that were able to comprehend this. That like I need to make mad wallets and like I need to
mhm,
get into the EAA. So I now say like if you want more EAA, you could just go to another blockchain.
mhm,
And right now you can look on the Zen.fyi. There's AVAX and it's under a global rank of 1 million. Now some would say like, why would I go to AVAX? Like it's not Ethereum. But
mhm,
then I just made a reference in the beginning of this video that AVAX is doing the right things on their blockchain to make the AVAX token expensive.
mhm,
So AVAX Zen would be just as valuable as ETH Zen because I can just sell the Zen into AVAX. And then if there's a community of Zenians on AVAX, then I'm getting a fair launch because I'm there first. And
mhm,
instead of focusing all my energy in the pool, like I said earlier, like being where everybody's at, like everybody's, I'm over here in ETH, it sucks. Like I've already started moving my bags because I
mhm,
understand how Zen works. And like, one of the key things is the burn. And as coins are burned and Zen becomes disinflationary, there's going to be a point in time where all of the charts, all 9 chains, okay, 10, we'll include ETH. So all 10 chains are going to have to come to some equilibrium. Right now, they're like, what? Some of them are like 4x below the price of ETH. AVAX is only 2x below the price of ETH.
really?
Um, yeah, it's 7 zeros, whereas ETH is 5 zeros. So
Mhm,
and same with Binance chain is
mhm,
7 zeros, and then Matic is 8 zeros.
mhm,
But when we look at the grand scale of things, right? Like I'm saying, like if you feel like you missed out, or damn, the liquidity has been like killed and crushed by centralized exchanges. Well, they're not going to do AVAX because the centralized exchanges have to cater to the industry. So they want the ETH in.
mhm,
So like I'm honestly like, yo, y'all could take that to be honest, because Jack Levin already said that you can burn Zen for another token, or you can
mhm,
burn Zen for rewards, and that people are gonna make contracts like later on at 7 p.m. on my Twitter, I'm doing a spaces with this new project coming out on Zen called DB Zen, and it's a burn token that only has 5.1 million total supply, and all the tokens won't be burned out for 62 years. So every day they're gonna hold an auction lobby style of distribution, where depending on how much Zen you burn that day on that chain, you'll receive a token based on that. And then that token will be able to be ported over to like X1, or it'll be
mhm,
able to be ported over to Ethereum. So now like one of the things I'm going to challenge them on later is like, how do you plan on having LP? Or like, how do you plan on being DeFi? You know, like why am I gonna give you my coins? Because it sounds kind of interesting that you are gonna give me like a burn point and allow for that Zen to find another purpose. And that's kind of what Jack is kind of instructing, and what the white paper says is that there is Zen supposed to be in abundance, so that
Mm,
over the next 8 years of inflation, um, when it becomes disinflationary, it automatically becomes hard to get.
right.
So that's why it's like the first in now, you get more today than you get tomorrow. And that's why there's so much supply and the chart's going down, because we're in price discovery and everybody on the east side is just dumping it. But if you go look at all the other chains, there's something bubbling, because on Friday they're going to do Polygon Zen FTs, and now that's kind of like the Zen vehicle to bring the community over. We're now
Mm,
like, people go, oh, Zen FTs are coming out on Polygon, like let me go get some Polygon and interact and play, like get some Zen FTs, and then the price is going up. I think the price went up last night with the tweet from Jack, and it, I'm I hate to be a trader, but like if there's gonna be arb in between the chains, like what am I doing standing in the sand? Like I need to start moving around, because it's there for me. It's fair. Like it's fair to think like this.
mm,
And that's one thing I say in the Zen community all the time. It's like it's pretty bizarre that this token is designed for us to tell our secrets. And
mm.
back in the day, we used to be like, nah, I can't tell nobody about my move, because if I do, they're gonna get ahead of me. But
Don't
in the
make
Zen world, I want you to come to AVAX. Like I want you to see it the way I see it. I've already got my stakes in, so I need to onboard you guys over there, and so you can see the value of onboarding other people over there. And then maybe there's another chain that we all see the value in, then we bring our people over there, right? And
yeah.
then my description of all of this is that the developers have been able to like arb Ethereum, and we're not developers, we're DeFi users. So like, of course, we're not going to beat the dev. Like the dev going, they got devs like writing scripts going directly to the core of gas on Zen. And my theory on that is those devs want as much Zen as possible so that they can progress to X1. Like they want to burn the Zen to be the first developer on X1, and then now they're going to make whatever they're going to make over there. But they get it, like, oh, this is going to be disinflationary, and today is the day to get the most, so I'm going in. And even with high gas, people are still mining, which is kind of bizarre to me, but at the
Mm,
same time it shouldn't be bizarre, because that's how it works. Like you mine it out of the contract. Yeah, kind of going back to the idea of like there's too much supply. um, the It's supposed to be that way because of the design of adoption, so that more
mhm,
people can have the ability to interact with Zen and cryptocurrency as a whole.
mm,
And everyone will be on Ethereum, but those other blockchains are there for us to explore as users. And then
right.
maybe we build over there or something, right? Maybe you love AVAX all of a sudden because it makes sense for you. You've been doing, like, I had to do a bunch of research before I went to AVAX. It's not like I just poured it over some ETH. I
Right.
actually did some research and I found out that like I could buy on Coinbase and send it directly to AVAX chain. And then I
Mm,
was like, oh, like I could put $20 in here and start minting at like 10 cents, because
mm,
AVAX has cheaper fees. So
right.
like, yeah, like it's like one wallet's like 10 cents over there. And
Like
like
that.
I said, yeah, it's nothing. And like that's what I mean. It's fair. Like the
Yeah.
creator Jack is saying that all Zen will become parallel in price. Like
That's
at some
interesting.
at some point, all of these chains are gonna be like boop boop boop. Maybe everything's chase. My thought is that everything will chase ETH,
Hmm.
and it will chase like liquidity pools. So you'll see a lot of transactions on Binance chain right now, because on Binance chain, a lot of degens live over there, and they were like, "Oh,
Right.
I got some Binance for this," and now they threw it in, and it started to a vehicle, and now they stuck in the game because they accidentally was like, "I'll get into this," and then same in Polygon world, people just got in because they had extra coins, and now they're in. And I
Yeah.
think that that's what's bringing me to be very fascinated about Zen, because it's allowing the crypto user to finally branch out and like see what's out there in a
You,
bear market, right?
do you
Like
think it will be as popular on Pulse Chain?
I pray to God it comes out on Pulse Chain. Like, yo, if it comes out on Pulse Chain, oh man, there's gonna be so much cool traffic. Like everybody will flood there. So
Yeah.
like,
Would it be like a new Like a new contract, or would it be a forked, like your ETH bag gets copied over?
Well, if I guess if it forked, like how Pulse Chain's gonna fork
Mhm,
everything, then
mhm,
essentially it would just keep the longevity of the Zen contract. But what it
mhm,
would port as well and fork over would be all the burn contracts. So then
mhm,
like the Zen community on Pulse Chain could like burn all the Zen and like create their own chart if they wanted to. And
mhm,
then yeah, and then they could have their own fun in Pulse land, because that's their environment. That's the idea in a sense, is that like they live on Zen lives on other chains because there's users on all chains.
right.
And if Zen is trying to onboard 100 million users, the last thing Zen should try to do is not be cross-chain functional,
Mm,
and allow other people to discover the token. Um, that's kind of why I really started to get into it, because the distribution of it is pretty bizarre. And for me, like a strategy that I'm doing is like not financial advice, but I'm just like I'm buying the Zen on Ethereum as it goes down,
mhm,
and I'm staking it, and then like creating stakes just so I get that passive income,
mhm.
and then I'm just gonna wait it out on the ETH side. But then on like AVAX, Binance Chain, and Polygon, that's where I'm spending my gas to mint because it's cheaper.
Right. So
So
I
it's
I mean, and it might be because of the gas fees have gone up, but I had looked at, I'm just a curious person. So I
hmm
don't go into it judging a project. To me, there was very little risk in doing a mint that was just paying the gas fees, right? Anything
hmm
that I buy, I'm going to have to pay the gas fees, and then I'm also going to have to put up my liquid dollars in order to, swap into that coin. So the fact that I didn't have to put up anything liquid and I could just pay that gas fee, that was intriguing to me. Right. So
hmm
when I went into Zen, it was just kind of like, well, I can just play around and, be kind of unaffected. Right. And
hmm
then, I did a couple day one mints and somehow the price went to the moon that first day and I sold them. So I'm completely in the clear. I can mint for,
That was the game.
yeah, I
I
can keep
missed I
eating
missed that.
for for however long and still not ever lose any money. So I'm happy in that. But for somebody new coming in, even when some of these mints came out, right, then I went and I was like, okay, should I stake it? And then I looked at like what the staking rewards would be, and to me it made more sense than to spend the money on the stake to just start another mint. I was going to get more coins back on
hmm
that $10 than, to stake it. Has that changed at all? Is the staking, weighed out more
Well, there's a
evenly?
game in the staking.
Okay.
So on April 6th of this year, the staking APR goes from, or APY goes from 19 percent to 20%. Oh no,
Mm,
my bad, to 18%. So every 90 days, the staking APY goes down 1%. And then eventually, after 1,626 days, it will be only 2% going forward. So
mm,
it's like a scaled idea to get down to 2%, so that if somebody just wants to stake their Zen, they can always print 2% from the contract. But because of the gas fees on Ethereum, like staking is like better to do long. So I just
mm.
been doing 1,000-day stakes because
Okay.
there's no reason for me to time the market. It's better
Yeah.
for me just to be like, well, when this pops out in 2025, like I know that the market speculation, like I said earlier, is $67 trillion. So
Mhm,
I'm if I mean, this guy named Jack, he helped create Gmail and Google Cloud. So I'm pretty sure that in 2025, his coin should be around. So hopefully it's a little higher than it is today. So that's kind of
mhm.
how I've decided to be like, all right, I'll stick for 1,000 days.
Okay. So I guess the staking advantage would be in the fact that you can go longer than the max mint, Lynn.
Yeah. Until the max mint is as long as staking. But the way that the structure of Zen is that when the max mint claim is getting longer, you're getting less Zen.
Mhm,
You're gonna need to max it out at that point where, it's just I think like that when we get to that moment, that's like people who are trying to stay up with it. They're like, yeah, like I gotta keep getting this in because this is the most important thing for the next 8 years of my life.
yeah.
But going back to the other 9 chains, that's where like your playgrounds are. Where like if you have Ethereum now and you're like, I don't know, I don't really want to spend the ETH on Ethereum. They have bridges and all kinds of things for you to like port your ETH over to like Binance Chain or like Polygon. And then from those port areas, right, you get your Polygon Matic. You can go and interact with like the Zen contract for like cents on the dollar, and you can learn about it. So you can get more comfortable to maybe figure out your game strategy on Ethereum. And I think ETH fees will get back to normal. Every holiday season they drop pretty low, so we're not in the full boom. That's like next year. So we
Mhm.
might have another opportunity going into the Q4 of this year to push out some max mints and like really do some like I got to put myself in a good position for like whatever the hell Zen is today.
Mhm.
But as the market has this like growth moment right now and all this fear and uncertainty and doubt, I feel like a good play for a Zennian is to like move to a new chain and understand that environment and be good at like understanding crypto because like you're the crypto dude. Like, well, I'm crypto, bro. You're Black Hexican. Like we the crypto people. Like there's nobody like us on the planet. So like if we are exploring, it's like we're the first, people walking on the moon before anyone. And that's kind of why I'm so hyped about the Xeniaverse because
Mhm.
I've already started to discover some things on like why Jack did what he did and like why everything is so constructed and not as free as people think. Like the
Mhm.
tokens are free, right? But everybody's like the price goes down, and then like you have to learn about it, and it's like oh, and then like the same with the NFTs. It's like how do I trade these? Nobody wants this shit, right? And then it's like oh, it's encapsulated value. That's what people will want in the future. Oh, okay. And then the same with the staking NFT, right? You can actually create 1,000-day stake today with 19% APY, and then just list it on OpenSea. Like, what happens when it's day 99? What's that environment look like when with your ZenFT stake up? Like, how people might be eBay fighting for that. Because that's what another reason why I'm getting trying to put in the stakes for a long time because as that APY goes down, it's like I'm losing a day every day I don't do 1,000.
Mhm.
Kind of I learned that from Hex though, like where you got to ladder your stakes out every day, just like throw it in, get it going.
Mhm.
So that's the cool thing about the staking part. But all chains are gonna have ZenFTs. Every chain is slowly rolling them out. Like I said on Friday, they're gonna do Polygon, and I
Yeah.
think as these come out, that's where people are gonna start moving. Like I saw that with the Binance Chain one. We were all there last week. Everybody, we're having like a party on Binance Chain, and then on Friday, all the Zinians are going to be on Polygon. We're going to be partying over there. And then I think they're going to do Phantom, then Avalanche, and then the remaining chains.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so it's an exciting time to be in Zen because like I said, you're it's targeting us like on purpose because we're the user and we are the person that the company or the brand wants to target later. Kind of just going full circle in this talk we've been having about branding and about positioning yourself where it's easy to be discoverable. That's what this is all about realistically. Like Zen is
Yeah.
trying to position itself to be on the leaderboard, and when it's on that leaderboard it doesn't want to flex with this idea that it has a giant liquidity pool. It's trying to flex with users, like the same thing Google did, the same thing
Mhm.
every tech company does. The first thing they flex with is not how much money they made in a quarter. It's like we've got a billion users. Like that
Yeah.
chat GPT thing, like it was all over socials, right? Like they're like, wow, we got 1 million users in 2 months. Like now that's the race. That's the moon race. Who can create the most users in an industry tool, right? So like
100%.
yeah, that's why like I can comprehend what Zen is trying to create, which is that vehicle, that currency that has a real user behind it that understands how to use cryptocurrency. Like if you've been in crypto for 8 years now, you've been using crypto like OD. Like you've been
Mhm.
clicking buttons, you've been sending things, you've been testing out all kinds of UIs. Like we're really really smart people, and I'm happy that there's something that we can dive into because in my opinion, the crypto industry, because of the whole VC capital funding thing, has like gotten away from the first principles and like got away from like the fun of like you just being able to explore and like like when the internet came out and like you would just go and load up a screen and just like type in like hot dog or something and like you would just just like look at something like funny, like, or like a funny meme, like now everything is so directive. Like everything's got to be like, oh, I got to go straight to Instagram and I got to post this photo looking like this, or I got to put this tweet and I got to put all these hashtags and I got to do this and that. And just for me personally, I just think like that's what's kind of gotten away, or that's what's been in the way for us to like be able to like grow out. And that's where my excitement comes from when I talk about Zen, because like I see it just like a growing vehicle for like the whole community, like where if you never had an idea, you can bring it to life, right? Like I've had an idea where this hoodie, eventually it's going to be available, but I want to contribute to the burn. And I've always tried to figure out like how can I merge crypto and like my real time branding stuff. And then I was like, like maybe I can build a contract, like teach myself how to build a contract. And then now Zen enters the arena and they have a proof of burn idea. And I'm like, oh, that's a little different. Like, yeah, I could build a contract and take ETH, but like if I built a contract, took ETH and burned Zen so that I have all the Zenians turned up, they're like throwing a party for my launch because they're like, he's gonna burn the Zen. Woo! Like that social economic energy is just so fascinating to me. Like
Yeah.
there's no other brand out right now in crypto where like it's like people are turning up for like the burn. Like we all know that the burn can happen, but like the burn is all around Zen and it's based on the users using it. And
Mm,
with those users, they power the vehicle. And it's pretty much like the people's blockchain at that point. If it really does get like a Nike account or an Adidas account, or anybody that's saying like they want to take Zen money.
mm,
Yeah, we did a meetup here in New York like this past Saturday, and we had like a little huddle corner in this coffee shop. It was like maybe like 8 of us, and we took over like, well, I mean it's a coffee shop, so like they had a bigger part in the back, but it was like
mm.
we was in the front, like we was in the front, and it got
Yeah.
to the point where I had to make a statement where I was like, damn, Zenians actually test real world uh like scalability. Like there was only two Bartistas there, and they was stressing when we was there because we was drinking coffee and talking, and they was caught off guard a little bit. And I was like, see, when have we seen a crypto that's in a local atmosphere making an impact? Like we do some global stuff, but like
Yeah.
I feel like that is pretty powerful. Like if you can get 4 to 5 to 10 Zenians together in one area just to brainstorm how to make crypto better, like
Yeah.
now you're providing that business with some sort of ad revenue, or some, not ad revenue, but like you're providing them with something they didn't have. And
Yeah.
that is
Well,
was
I kind of feel like Hexicans kind of set the bar when it comes
oh,
to
y'all
meetups
are
and
so up there. Y'all bring it to the sea. Y'all bring it to the sea. That's different levels. That's
yeah.
fire.
Yeah. So, I'm interested. To me it's all learning. I found it difficult, honestly. When I found Hex, I wanted to, yell it to the moon. I wanted every family member, every person I knew to get into Hex, right? To
Hmm.
me, that was the generational wealth that we've been looking for, that we've been waiting for. But I found it extremely difficult to get it from explaining what hex is to getting my people to have their own custody of their hex. I had no problem getting them to send me a cash app or give me $100 so that I could buy it for them and take care of it for them and do all that. And I'm like, that's not real crypto, right? I need you to be invested in the narrative enough to want to learn how to have custody over your own crypto. And that just wasn't happening. Right. So
Hmm.
then when Zen came out and I started like sending my brothers over that information, and I'm like, hey, this coin is free, but you got to have your own wallet. You got to mint it yourself. Right. That's all the information I would give them. I was like, but it's free. And there's a big Google dude behind it. So it's probably going to blow up. Now, next thing you know, they're like, okay, so how do I get into my wallet? Like they're actually trying to do the steps. And to me, that was enough. That was enough for me to say, okay, I'm interested in this project because now I am getting these people to actually perform crypto. And for me, I mean, it ain't going nowhere. Hex is my coin. Like point blank period. But if I believe so truthfully, so honestly in Hex that it is the best investment, then what is the what is the failure in exposing them to lots of crypto and letting them make the decision on which one is best for them? If I believe in Hex, they're going to choose Hex, right? If I believe that this is truly the best crypto, then likely I should also believe that they're going to come this way. But at the end of the day, we just want people in crypto, because I have literally been on the streets. Like I went to a car show one time, and me and my husband, we took our phones and like a little microphone, and we were like, let's just show people how early we are in this crypto space, right? So we're just walking around to people, hey, can you name 3 cryptos? Man, that's probably one of the funniest videos I have ever shot in my life. Some of the answers we were getting was like, dude, somebody told me, I told him to name 3 cryptos. One dude said crypto. No, like name 3 cryptos. He was like, yeah, they got Bitcoin. They got what's that one called? Crypto. I was like, oh yeah. We're at the beginning. Like it was, I couldn't get anybody. The only 3 answers that I got that entire day was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and people saying stuff like the doggy coin. Right? Not even understanding how to pronounce it or anything, just like the doggy coin. So if that doesn't tell you how early we are in crypto, you know, and a lot of the people that do crypto, they're not even doing it right. Like they're just holding funds on Coinbase or Robinhood. Robinhood is the absolute worst,
That's
right?
the worst one, yeah.
Like the absolute worst. I remember when I was doing stocks and my husband was, you know, altcoin this, altcoin that. And so, you know, I'm getting a little jealous. I'm seeing his green candles or whatnot. And now I see on Robinhood, there's an option where you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Doge, right? So I started buying a little bit of Doge just so that I could say that I bought some crypto. And I'm buying it. And now I've like accumulated a nice size bag. And then my husband introduced me into Richard Hart and ETH and Hex. So I'm like, oh no, I'm doing it wrong. So I sell all of the Doge, like literally as soon as I got back to even. When I tell you the next 4 days were all green candles going up to the moon, I was like, but the crazy thing about it was the little bit that I hadn't sold. So as those green candles were coming and I tried to go back into Robinhood to sell it, they stopped it. They would not let me make any trades. They were like, oh, you can buy some more, but you can't sell anymore. And then that's when I fully understand what the difference is between operating in this centralized world and then actually having control over your own crypto in the DeFi space.
Yeah, yo, hey, and that's what it is, right? You trip, you fall, you scrape your knee, but you jump up like this, and then you put a band-aid on, and you just keep it going. I think that's the part where us as like real crypto users, we're trying to usher in our friends and family without having them scrape their knee.
Yeah.
And that's cool that you had that experience where like you tell your family members now they got to learn how to use the wallet because I'm gonna be visiting my family soon, and I told myself I'm like I'm gonna make everybody in the house make a Zen wallet, and I'm doing it because they ask me every single time I'm around like teach me crypto, like they
Yeah.
know they're like my mom like knows she birthed like crypto bro, like she's like I need you to teach me, and I've always wanted to, but the hardest part is that risk factor to what you're talking about, like of like man, I don't want this person to get burned and like have to learn about what I've gone through. Like I just want them to be on a good vehicle. So I haven't even shielded like ETH to my mom because I'm just like this stuff is so like all over the place. Like I want to really put you on, but like I just don't want you to be like my mom's like really curious, so she'll go out
Mhm.
there and next thing you know, she might be hitting me up like, "Yo, what happened to my money?" um, and that's why I like the
Got a
Zen
lot of those
idea.
calls.
Yeah. Like if I teach my family about Zen, it's just like, look at this coin. This is how crypto is made, right? Like
Mhm.
this is you're making your own crypto, self custody vibes, and then you can port it over and start the DeFi after that. Once you make that mint,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a really cool experience for you watching your family members. I actually had a friend where he didn't want to do it, and I was like, bro, it's like, or he hit me back. He was like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on crypto right now. And I was like, what? Like, I just told you to mint a wallet. Like, I didn't tell you to give me $100 or spend $1 billion, bro. And
So
then, yeah, and then I told him, I was like, no, just mint it. Here's the address. Like, here's the thing. Like, he knows how to crypto, but like, he
yeah.
just thought I wanted him to buy something. And
Yeah.
then, and that's how DJ I am, right? Like, I hit up the homies, and then they're like, oh man, you just want me to buy a token, and I gotta get that off of me. But I told my friend, like, after he minted it, I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna hit you up in 444 days, and we're gonna claim this together. And then he was like, all right. He's like, thanks for putting me on. But it was me like taking the extra step to be like, dude, I'm gonna hold your hand for him
Yeah.
to finally be like, all right, he's going hard in the paint for this. Like, he's never told me I got to make a contract call. And I was like, this is the most important contract call of your life, dude. Like, you got to do this one, at least one of them, because like when the vehicle starts, um, it's if you ever get a chance, look at old Jack Levin videos from like 2017, 2018, when he was basically shilling Image Geyser and Image Shack, which is like his businesses post Google. Image Shack was like a competitor to like Photo Bucket, if you remember Photo Bucket, like in the MySpace days.
Hmm.
And like he has a video where he talks about how like Photo Bucket went way more like in depth with like marketing, and like they were just going just 10 times more like user immersive than him in his company. And it like he lost a lot of traction in that moment, and learned a lot about like branding, and like how you need to put yourself out there, and like exposing yourself basically to the masses. And
Right.
that like kind of, in my opinion, is what birthed the vanilla mentor, because Jack understands that like the only way to get to the masses is to get the product in their hands, and let them experience it. Because then he made this thing called Imageizer that then it like took over all of Google. Because then like a developer could like chop up a photo and not have to like re-edit it. They could just like code it.
Hmm.
So a lot of people used his Imageizer, and it like generated revenue for him, and that's like a business that he's got going on, where people are constantly using his servers to like chop up images on the internet, so they don't have to store it on their own. So yeah, like this vehicle is going to eventually become like a like this big old like storage thing, I think. And like getting people involved, they'll be able to also experience like this new age cryptocurrency where uh yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Like, imagine just like you storing your data like in your wallet, kind of idea, and like exposing people in the future to this idea that they're the first people to like to be able to like keep their data on their phone, like down to like buying a cup of coffee and then
Hmm.
owning that cup of coffee purchase, and then you get a reward instead of you like using like a credit card, and then like Chase gets a reward and then they throw you like 0.1%. Like,
Hmm.
instead you can own your coffee purchase.
Hmm.
That's something that Jack talks about in 2018, of something he can see becoming big in the future. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I'm like, yo, the vanilla mentor is on purpose. People get mad because they're like, why can't I make more? And I'm like, yeah, that's why you can't make more, because it wants you to do it one time because you're a user. And if you use it once, then maybe you'll tell someone else like, hey, you should just use this. And
Hmm.
then now they just use it once. Then you can open them up to like the DeFi, like, oh, look at this NFT. You can make a bunch of those. Like, look at
Right.
this staking NFT. You can make a bunch of those. And then maybe, and then when X1 is out, it's like, yo, look at this blockchain. You can burn your coins for with all this other stuff. Yo, it's gonna be so crazy. I'm hyped, but like
Yeah.
I can see why the X1 is needed as well. X1 is gonna be where a lot of the uh, brands will probably utilize the technology to implement other stuff into their brand. Like on the Joker stream, he was talking about like Nike wanting to reward people for buying things, but they don't have the right crypto people working for Nike Inc. to learn where the best reward system is. Like they're using like Solana and like all these. Yeah, I just don't think they're decentralized. I don't think they're gonna win the race.
Right.
Bitcoin won a race. Ethereum won a race. Everything else is like fighting for number three. Like that's my theory on crypto right now. Is that there has to be a coin that gets number three before we start building number four and number five and number six. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for token number three that's not a stable coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I'm probably leaning towards that coin being post chain. Uh, just, my own bias probably there. But yeah, this has been very, very interesting. I've
I have Ethereum post chain.
you have a theory you want to share it before we wrap it up?
I feel like post chain is going to be the most decentralized blockchain.
Hmm.
And that's still why I have my hand in the cookie jar with post chain. The way that it's being laid out and how long it's taking to come out and the longer it takes to come out, all that really does is create this idea of like, well, when is it coming out? So
Hmm.
when it finally does come out, it's going to be one of the most decentralized releases. And because
Absolutely.
you had to stay there, you had to participate the whole time to catch the drop. And then
Mm.
if you're there at the drop, like yeah, you were one of the first people there, and that's gonna keep a legacy going forward. I feel like it's
Yeah.
gonna be it's always gonna be there too. Like in this building of like I said, the top 10 or even the top five cryptos. Like I could totally see that being there too. Like I could see Pulse Chain keep like something dope comes out on it. Not everybody's got their hands in the post side because it's an RPC that you just flip on MetaMask. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm gonna go over here to this community. What they doing over there? They partying over there? Like I'm trying to be part of that party.
And a lot of these big major influencers, the ones with the hundreds of thousands of subscribers and Twitter followers and all that, they're not talking about it now, or they weren't, during the sacrifice phase because they want to accumulate more themselves. But you can see it. I just saw Ivan on Tech post about Pulse Chain, so you can already see how much attention is going to come to the chain when it actually launches. And I think that we've always been closer than we've ever been before. Every day we're closer than we've ever been before. But I think that we are really approaching the finish line here just because of how many murmurings you're hearing of these major crypto figures, right? So that's
Hmm.
something that I've just been kind of looking at and watching and just like, okay, I see you talking about it now. We've been talking about it all year for 2 years, but I see you coming out now. So
Blockchain utopia, yo. There
yeah,
can never be enough blockchains. That's the part. In our lifetime, at least in this century, I don't think there can
yeah,
ever be enough.
'cause we're still so
So
early.
we're so early. Like to think
Mhm.
that there's one blockchain is to be like, yo, look at the sky, yo, there's constellations. Like there's all kinds of stars up there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm bullish on post chain. So I can't wait for it to pop out.
All right. Well, this was great. I'm definitely gonna have to invite you back sometime so we can kind of get into once it actually drops that layer one that Jack's working on. You can kind of fill me in on what's going on there, because I like to be informed. I like to speak to the people that have real passion, real conviction about projects. It doesn't mean that I myself am saying that this is the way that I'm going, but you can only grow from learning. So I appreciate you being here, sharing your knowledge with us. If you want to share any last shills, like your Twitter space that's coming up, or where people can find you, and
Yeah,
then we'll
yeah.
wrap it up.
So I'm hosting a Twitter Spaces in about 3 hours on my Twitter. You can just look up Crypto Bruh with three H's. I should be the first person to pop up, or just More World Peace. I'll pop up as well. I'm going to be talking with DB Zen, which is a gas token, where they're going to be absorbing the emissions of Zen on other blockchains and helping with the burn, while at the same time providing a liquidity token in rewards. So we're gonna be chatting it up. I'm gonna be stressing them out. I'm gonna try to break the project. If I can't break it, then maybe it's a good idea. Um, and then follow me on Twitter, Crypto Bruh, More World Peace. I'm actually DJing tonight, so if you're in New York City, I DJ. My party's called I Don't Have a 9 a.m., so don't show up if you have a 9 a.m. Um, But yeah, yo, shout outs to the world, and crypto is dead, but blockchain is forever.
Hey, thank you guys for joining us, being a part of the chat. I will be back again tomorrow with Toby Juan Hexobi. I think that's how you say it. Sorry, Toby, if I messed that up. But
Shout
we
outs,
are going
Toby.
to be talking pretty much more about Hex and why that is his coin of choice and how that coin goes with the principles that are most valuable to him. So thank you for joining us. Until next time.